It's another spectacular evening in Pittsburgh. The crowd pouring into PNC Park once again, and some dressed for the occasion as well. Pirates looking to get even with the Philadelphia Phillies after dropping the opener of this three-game set last night. Tonight is Game 2. Hi again, everyone. Along with Steve Blass, I'm Tim Neverett. We'll be joined by Robbie Ince-Mikowski in just a little while. Jeff Locke had to wait an extra day, Steve. He gets the start tonight, and all eyes will be on the Pirate left-hander.
Yeah, we kind of like to see him start every night. He has just been absolutely fabulously consistent. He lost his first start. He has not lost since. And here's a guy that just moves the ball all around the strike zone. He can go down low, he can go upstairs, he can go in, and he can go out. It's like he's throwing pitches they're not expecting, and that's the real essence of pitching. So he has been absolutely terrific.
Jeff Locke has some great numbers that he's built up, and tonight he hopes to make an impression with one final start before the All-Star rosters are set. Our Barrel Automotive League leader stat, Barrel, driven to be better. You see where he ranks, tied for second in winning percentage, third in ERA, in the top 10 in opponent average, ground ball percentage, and home runs allowed for 9 innings pitched. And he's won his last 7 decisions. That's the longest active streak, tied with the Phillies' Cliff Lee.
Yeah, this is a guy that could basically have 13 wins right now and be a lock to start the All-Star game. Consider this, his last 8 starts, 6 runs given up. I mean, he has just been so unbelievably consistent. So hope he can continue to that, impress somebody. Yeah, he should be working in New York during the All-Star break.
Again, winning his last 7 decisions. He has not been beaten over his last 15 starts. Well, the Pirates bats hope to wake up tonight, especially from the right side, as they face the left-hander for Philadelphia, John Lennon. Lineups and first pitch coming up.
By Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Jeff Locke getting ready to make this start. We'll look at the Root Sports field cam, and we'll walk you right out to the mound with Jeff tonight. as the left-hander gets set to face the Philadelphia Phillies for the second time this year. And he hopes to stop this one-game losing streak, Steve.
Absolutely, yeah. We got to stop this slide that the Pirates are on. Jeff Locke, what is the one thing you talk to any professional athlete about that they'd like to be better at or known for? And that's to be consistent. I don't think there's been anybody more consistent than Jeff Locke.
Jose Tabata activated off the disabled list today, making a start in right field. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the lineup drawn up this way by manager Charlie Manuel. Michael Young, the third baseman, leading off. Career against the Pirates, a .361 hitter. 3 doubles and 3 home runs in 17 games against the Bucs. Then it'll be Chase Utley, the switch-hitting shortstop Jimmy Rollins, Dominic Brown, Delman Young. Needs 2 more hits for 1,000 for his career. John Mayberry, Ben Revere, Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, and John Lennon batting 9th against the Pirate lefty Locke.
And the Chevrolet numbers for Jeff, they're all good. Everything you say about Jeff Locke is good. The one number that really stands out, he's worked those 96 innings, only 66 base hits in 96 innings. And mentioning to Stan and Teague earlier, his last 8 starts, he's given up 6 runs. I mean, he's just been, he hasn't been too good. He's been 10 good.
10 good. All right. Defensively, they hope to be 10 good also. In left field, Starling Marte, McCutcheon in center. We told you Tabata in right. Alvarez and Mercer, the left side of the infield. Walker and Sanchez on the right side, with Russell Martin doing the catching. Jose Tabata, who is back after a brief stint in Indianapolis. He had 9 rehab games there, not so brief, but 5 of 28. So reinstated today. And Brandon Compton, last night's starting pitcher, was sent back to Indianapolis. That was the roster move made to activate Tabata.
Be interesting to see what that revolving situation in right field is going to be, or if it becomes revolving at all.
Strike caught, and we are underway as Young takes strike 1. So Michael Young, a .290 hitter, 5 home runs and 21 runs batted in for Philadelphia. 0-1 pitch. Just missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeff Locke has not lost in his last 15 starts. Last guy to do that, Steve, your teammate Doc Ellis, 1971, the World Series year.
Yep.
He went 15 straight starts without a loss.
And he piled up a lot more wins. And Jeff Locke could have easily 13 wins if he had some more run support. If he had 13, he'd probably be starting in New York in the All-Star game. But just been fun to watch.
1-2 to Young. Fouled it off. Stays a ball and 2 strikes.
And I don't know if I've ever remember seeing a person so consistently stay out of the hitting zone and still stay in the strike zone. He's throwing strikes, but he's not been throwing a lot of hittable strikes. And that's quite a run. It's tough to do that pitch after pitch, time after time, and a high percentage of that.
1-2 in the air to left, right at Starling Marte. 1 out. Calling the balls and strikes tonight behind the plate is Paul Emmel. First base umpire Chris Conroy. Gary Darling, the crew chief, is at second base. And behind third, Jerry Meals.
And you always want to know what the strike zone is. We talk about it every night for a particular umpire, but especially when it's not a flamethrower. So guys like Jeff Locke, who throw plenty hard enough, but they're not the 98, 99 guys. So they need to make pitches. So they need to work in tandem with the umpire.
Pitch to Chase Utley, the second baseman. Strike 1.
He just stays away from that hot zone. He has been. And I don't know how long you can run this, but you run it as long as you can. It's been quite a long run already for Jeff. Just keep on trucking, buddy.
Utley went 0 for 3 last night, had a 9-game hitting streak broken. Locke gets ahead of him, 0-2. And Jeff was scheduled to start tomorrow night, but because the Pirates.
Last night.
What did I say, tomorrow?
Yeah, that's all right. I'll run him out there tomorrow.
I beg your pardon. Last night, but starting tonight instead. The 14-inning game the other day, he was warming up in the bullpen and warmed up rather aggressively, so the Pirates thought it was best to give him last night off.
I would think these days Clint Hurdle and his pitching coach Ray Searage just say, Jeff, you're going to pitch tonight or tomorrow night. Here's the ball, and don't say anything more to him.
Ready for the 1-2 to Utley. Bat roller. Walker with a backhanded play. 2 men out.
And he keeps making that play. We talked about it last night. He keeps on making that play when he has to go up to the middle and throw back across the body. And it doesn't matter whether he has to go 2 steps or 7. He keeps making this play.
Well, Neil Walker has become such a solid second baseman, especially going to his right. And with a backhand, he is able to make this play and throw in the same motion. It's been remarkable to watch his development as a defensive player over the last few years, and how much better he is this year than he was last year than the year before. He's been pretty good those other 2 years defensively too.
Yeah, and the 2 aspects of that particular kind of play that he makes, it's comparatively easier to get the ball into the glove than throwing back across with something on it and accurately when you're moving the way he is moving away from the throw. I think that's the tougher part of the play.
Jimmy Rollins batting right-handed, taps one back to Locke. Jeff throws hard to first base, and the Phillies are retired in order in the top half of the first inning. Locke gets them 1, 2, 3. Pirates coming to bat against John Lennon.
Second baseman right there, Bill Mazeroski, Hall of Famer on the left with his grandson Billy, and Neil Walker, who made that play on the backhand side going up and back of second base. And nobody can appreciate that play more than Bill Mazeroski. So Maz is in the building with grandson Billy and son David, and Neil Walker, who has been a very, very good, accomplished student of the Bill Mazeroski School of second base play. Off to a good start again tonight.
Great to see Maz here.
Oh, always.
So John Lannon getting set to make his first pitch of the ball game. He'll do it to left fielder Starling Marte. Strike 1.
John Lannon 1 and 2 in his 6 starts. As you take a look at Starling Marte.
286 for Marte. Looks to bunt. And Marte down to first. He's on base. Base hit for Starling Marte.
And that's a classic example of forcing the pitcher to hurry himself and rush. And in his haste, could not get his hand around the baseball. He got a base hit.
Pirates lineup is brought to you by Toyota. Marte just with the bunt base hit. Jordy Mercer batting second. Andrew McCutcheon 7 for 16 career versus John Lannon. Then Sanchez and Martin, Alvarez, Tabata, and Walker, and Locke batting ninth for the Buccos. Marte off of first base, nobody out. And Jordy Mercer at the plate. Mercer takes a strike. Pirates trying to get a number of right-handers at the top of the order with Mercer batting second. Numbers on John Lannon, Steve.
Yep, 1 and 2. Missed a good bit of the early part of the season because of a knee injury, left knee, and that required surgery. So just making his 7th start of the year.
The 0-1 pitch. And Mercer taps it down to third. Michael Young goes to second for 1, and Jordy Mercer beats it out. Fielder's choice for Jordy, 1 out and 1 on. Marte is erased on the force play at second base.
Not sharply hit enough to return a double play. The ball's not hit hard, and you've got 2 long throws from third to second, and then second all the way over to first. You got a bad combination for a double play.
See John Mayberry Jr. at first base tonight. No Ryan Howard. Mayberry in the lineup instead. Howard's been scuffling at the plate, although he did have a hit last night that snapped an 0 for 22 streak. In the dirt to McCutchen. A 1-ball count.
We talked about the right-handers with their opportunities against left-hand starters. They're at the top of the batting order. Marte, Mercer, McCutchen, and then also go down to number 4, Gabby Sanchez. So 4 right-handers up at the top, hoping to get some production. The Pirates need to get the bats going.
1-0 the count. Oh, it's 1-1. Vander took the strike from John Lannon.
Pirates no real strangers to the left-hander for the Phillies, making his 10th career start against the Bucs. He just won 1 time, lost 4.
Lannon was on the disabled list for 2 months with a strained quadriceps tendon in his left knee. He was out of action for a while, thus just 6 starts for him. Carlos Ruiz with a block.
We used to see a lot of John Lannon with the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, Lannon describes himself as a late bloomer, a guy who went to school in Albany, New York, and still lives in the New York City region in Long Island. But, because in the East you don't get a chance to play a lot of games as a high schooler and as a college player, he had to develop late. And that was kind of a situation. He did not really play very much in college even until his junior season. He started pitching more and finally got noticed, and the Nationals drafted him.
11th round pick back in 2005.
3-1 to McCutchen. In the air to right. Delman Young on the run. He won't get it, and that's a foul ball. Especially for visiting players, Steve, that is a very tough wall to play for a right fielder.
Not much room when you get to the foul line. And you'll see a lot of right fielders go into that slide just for self-preservation. Go up against the padding.
Full count to McCutchen. Mercer is the runner at first base, 1 out. Still fans pouring over the bridge. Another crowd of 30,000 plus tonight. There goes Mercer. The pitch is low ball 4, and the Pirates have 2 men on with 1 out. McCutchen takes the free pass. The Pirates tonight certainly don't want to be in the same situation they were last night. They had men on base, had opportunities. A couple of times with the bases loaded, couldn't produce a run.
Yep, both times bases loaded with 2 outs, strikeouts. Not able to put the ball in play. And over the weekend, a couple of 2-1 wins. So need some more offense.
Brandon Inge was pinch hitting for Garrett Jones in one of those situations and struck out with the bases full. Jones also struck out with the bases loaded last night. And Gabby Sanchez just crushes one into the 3rd deck.
So that spot, regardless of whether it had Jones or Inge, just not able to get it done.
Well, I asked Garrett about it today in the dugout. I said, first of all, your home run missed the bushes. He likes to hit them in the bushes. He said, yep. He said, I also hit it the wrong at bat.
Yep.
Meaning he should have hit it with the bases loaded, or wanted to at that point. Things didn't work out for him. 0-1 pitch. And Gabby pops this one up. And will it be out of reach? Yes, up into the seats. Ruiz ran as far as he could, but ran out of room.
So as we said, we stuffed this part of the lineup with our right-handers, and it's up to Gabby now as you watch people still coming across.
Be a great crowd here tonight to see Jeff Locke And we understand another great crowd tomorrow to see Garrett Cole pitch.
Also got the regatta going on. A lot of stuff happening in the city of Pittsburgh. Great part of the summer.
No balls, 2 strikes to Gabby Sanchez. Runners off first and second. And Gabby fouls it off. Didn't height. The colors hoisted early tonight. During the last series, Gabby was robbed of a home run by the Brewers. Logan Schaefer was playing left field, and Gabby thought he had it. 0-2 pitch coming from Landon. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And John Landon, not known to be a power kind of a guy. He won a lot of games for the Washington Nationals. But, he will not blow you away with speed. This 28-year-old left-hander. He's won 43 major league games. As I said, just one of them against the Pirates. And there's a struggling Cole Hamels.
We'll go tomorrow. Sanchez out in front of an off-speed pitch.
Just as long as first time we say he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, he goes to the off-speed pitch and he gets Gabby way out in front. Not a particularly well-placed changeup, but the fact that it was a changeup instead of the fastball had Gabby out in front.
2 men out. Batters Russell Martin. Martin hitting in the 5th spot tonight. 247 average for Russ.
Let's try another right-hand hitter.
2 on and 2 out. Mercer at second. McCutchen at first. Ball 1 to Russell Martin. Martin walked 3 times last night in the series opener. But he's hit safely in 2 of his last 3 ball games, going 2 for 6. 1-1. What a difference Martin has made this year in a number of ways. He's come up with several key hits at times, but also his defense, his game calling. The pitchers really have confidence in him.
Been a great fit.
How many times do you see a pitcher shake him off during the course of a game?
Not very often.
1-1. That's a strike.
Breaking ball right there. Not much help for right-handers trying to hit the ball to the stands in left field. The wind kind of coming down the Allegheny and not helping all that much at this point. We always have to earn it to left field here, but maybe a little bit more so tonight.
Ball and 2 strikes to Russell Martin. Landon stretch. Runners off first and second. And the 1-2. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the Pirates trying to load up this lineup with right-handed hitters against the lefty Landon. Back-to-back lefties in this series. Pirates haven't seen, relatively speaking, a lot of left-handed pitchers.
Only Pedro, the lefty. Just 8 guys.
And Martin down on strikes. So 1 inning in the books. Pirates get a hit and leave 2. Head to the second, no score.
the Angels last night. Albert Pujols facing his former club for the first time. Bottom of the second inning in a scoreless game. 6 of the first 7 hitters in that second inning single off Lance Lynn. They put up 5 in the inning and go on to win by the final score of 5-1. Let's go back now to PNC Park to rejoin Tim and Steve. Guys.
Rob, thank you very much. And that win by the Angels certainly helps out the Buccos. It keeps the Cardinals 2 games back. Of course, Cincinnati got the no-hitter out of Homer Bailey last night, beating the Giants 3-0. So they picked up a little ground. They're still 4 back. No score, top of the second inning on an 85-degree night here at PNC Park. Great night for the kids, great night for the families, great night for the folks, and Pittsburghers in general, and even some Philadelphians who made the trip across the state. Just a gorgeous shot of this ballpark.
No bad angles.
Nope. And still, Steve, people come here for the first time, people come here for the 100th time. They still look at this place and say it's gorgeous. Dominic Brown rips this one foul for strike 1.
Nice tidy start to the ball game for Jeff Locke. Take a look at Dominic Brown, who is having himself one fine major league season. Take a look at those numbers. 21 home runs, 58 ribbies. They have found a player.
A lot of that has come during the month of June. Started during the end of May and carried all the way through June. I thought they had a lot with him when they started to put him in that position a couple of seasons ago. Didn't quite pan out. Still a pretty good player, still doing the job, but this year he is, I think, more what the Phillies had hoped. And a bouncer to Neil Walker. One gone for Philadelphia in the second. Fans, get your seats in the Pepsi all-you-can-eat seats for just $42. 5 more on the day of the game. You get a Pirates ticket. All-you-can-eat hot dogs, hamburgers, nachos, popcorn, peanuts, ice cream, and pop. Go back for more food and drinks as many times as you like. Visit pirates.com/all-you-can-eat. Delman Young takes ball 1. There's folks right there in the all-you-can-eat seats.
Where's the Rock? Where's Wainer?
Well, he's always in the all-you-can-eat seats, no matter what seat he's in. That one's a fair ball. Going to bounce back toward Marte. And Young stays at first. Marte pretty fortunate there.
Yeah, and sometimes just Starling does things that will get your attention. He corrals this ball, and the runner is already kind of holding up at this point, and then he catches a flyer. Need good backup. Gabby's there.
You can smile now. It all worked out. John Mayberry at the plate with Young at first. Delman Young with career hit 999. Strike 1 to Mayberry.
Some of the Phillies guys were asking me for a scouting report on Jeff Locke. I said, consider this, get away from the numbers for a minute. Like when he throws a particular pitch, it's like the batters are looking for something else. If he throws it in a particular area, they're looking somewhere else. If he throws at a particular speed, they're looking for something else. It seems like he's one step ahead of the game right now. And you're looking fast, it throws slow. You're waiting for that curveball, you get the fastball. I asked him a couple weeks ago, I said, do you think your fastball is getting enough respect? It is. He said, it is for me. He's just been doing a whole lot of pitching.
1 ball and 1 strike to Mayberry. And Mayberry in the lineup, it gives Charlie Manuel another right-handed option against the lefty Locke.
And what Jeff does too with a runner at first base, he'll show him that knee, and many times that will hold them if they're thinking about going anywhere. Of course, he's facing right over there, and he can show them that knee before he comes to home plate, or he can show them that knee and go over to first.
90-mile-an-hour fastball. Mayberry got just a little piece of it. Now Jeff Locke will throw that ball out. I think in the old days, Steve, you might keep that ball after it hit the backstop.
There's a good scuff on it.
I think pitchers today are so accustomed to throwing out anything that's got a mark on it because they've had it thrown out for them by the umpires for so long.
There's a 10-second limit on a new baseball in the major leagues right now.
Yeah, that one had a nice scuff in it. You want to hang on to it.
There's the look for Jeff to the runner. The knee comes up. And he can basically do anything. He can hold that knee up. He can go up and just kind of pause there a little bit. Comes home. Do a lot of different things. The left-handers can fudge the whole program a little bit. Get away with a lot more than a right-hander can.
2-2 to Mayberry.
Yes. No.
Just missed.
Not by much. Paul Emmel said it did, so we go full. Range Resources shows that it was a good call.
So Russell Martin framing it just a bit, trying to steal a strike, but it didn't happen.
Sell it every once in a while. You always try to make the sale. Sometimes you make the sale, and sometimes they don't bite.
Popped up right side, and Gabby Sanchez will give it a look. Playable for Gabby. 2 men out. This look at the stolen base leaderboard is brought to you by Red 2. Everett Cabrera of San Diego running away with it right now. 31 steals. Gene Segura of Milwaukee. One ahead of Starling Marte. Then Ben Revere of the Phillies with 20 stolen bases. Juan Pierre of Miami with 18. Pierre still stealing bases.
Yeah. Retired, extremely dangerous. First one was
good. I liked it.
Very entertaining.
Revere takes a strike.
You're seeing a very confident pitcher out there too. Went 3-2 with Mayberry. Got the pop up. Then issued the free pass.
0-1 coming. And Revere fouls it off. Since May 1st, Revere's hitting .328 in 55 games. That's the second best average among all major league center fielders over that time period, trailing only Mike Trout of the Angels, who's hitting .336. We saw Trout in the 3-game series in Anaheim, and Pirates pitching quieted him down. But certainly, this guy can play both in the field and at the plate. Ben Revere put up some good numbers offensively since May 1st. 0-2 pitch. Bouncer to Sanchez. Will go to second for one. Mercer, the return throw, too late. And Gabby didn't know how many outs there were.
Yeah, I thought I'd lost track of things.
I was wondering why he was throwing over there. That's 3 outs. Gabby doing it the hard way.
And always has been.
The second inning, Pirates and Phillies game 2 of this 3-game set. Here's tonight's Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. The last 5 Pirates to lead the National League in home runs for a month: Pedro Alvarez, Garrett Jones, Brian Giles in 02, Barry Bonds in 92, and Bobby Bonilla in April of 1990 with 7. There is Pedro, looking to have a good July as well. Take ball 1. I was wondering why Gabby Sanchez was throwing second base. And I think Jordy Mercer was as well, if you saw the way that he was sort of surprised that the ball was headed in his direction. He got to second base a little late.
But as a player probably would do, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is only one out. I got to try to get this double play. So I think Gabby wasn't the only one. Everybody was kind of frozen.
Base hit for Pedro.
You got to have more lefties in the lineup against Lanham.
A hit-off single for the Pirates' third baseman.
Pedro kind of hooked it away from Chase Utley.
One on and nobody out. Here's Jose Tabata. Hasn't played in the major league since the 24th of May. Activated from the disabled list today. Went 5 for 28 in 9 games with AAA Indianapolis. Pitch inside to Jose. It's a 179 average, by the way. 5 for 28.
I want to get him away from that AAA pitching.
12 hits in his last 31 big league at bats. That's a 387 average at that point. 272 overall for the Bucks this year. 1-0 pitch. And Jose bangs one into left field. Welcome back, Jose. 2 straight singles to lead off the second inning. Pirates setting up shop. Nobody out for Neil Walker.
Pirates finding the holes between first and second, and now between third and short.
Good start for Tabata on his way back. He gives the Pirates a good right-handed option as a right fielder. 3 different right fielders will be used: Travis Snyder, Garrett Jones, and now Jose Tabata. And here's Neil Walker batting right-handed against the lefty Lanham. There's been some discussion recently between Clint Hurdle and Neil Walker about him continuing to bat right-handed. A lot of folks say, well, you know, his left-handed average is okay at 246. Righty, he's 184. But in 2010, a couple seasons ago, it was very strong from the right side. And what they're doing is trying to find ways to rekindle that and get Neil and his splits from right to left back even again. Neil last night had a hit off of a left-hander, Antonio Bastardo, in the 8th inning. He was batting right-handed. A little chopper to shortstop. Jimmy Rollins, backhand, no throw, and a base hit for Walker. And the bases are full of Bucks with nobody out.
Well, we'll take that. A little chop. Didn't get much of it, but in the right direction. A long trip for Jimmy Rollins as you see him coming a long way from deep short. Nothing to do but take a look over at third base in case Alvarez made a base running mistake, which he did not. Now, Jeff, stay away from the ground ball here.
Jeff Locke.
Help yourself. Put it in play.
He has 1 hit in 26 at bats, an 038 average. Get something to drive it, but you're right, stay out of that double play. Is the Statue of Liberty the worst thing here?
Statue of Liberty play?
Statue of Liberty play? I mean, it is, you know, 4th of July holiday. Alvarez 90 feet away. Strike 2 to Jeff.
shorten up, chop at the ball, do anything.
Pirates hoping to put together an inning here. Starling Marte in the on-deck circle. Pirates will turn the order over after blocks it back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One and 2 to Jeff Locke. There is the 1-2 from Lannon. Locke strikes out. Strikeout number 3 for Lannon. Locke is 0 for 1. And Starling Marte with 1 on the bases full. What is Brandon Inge doing? Look at those. He's got cat eyes. And one sideways and one's up and down. Those are some interesting contact lenses he's wearing.
Not sure what that's all about.
Get 9 lives if you wear those?
Maybe.
Marte right at Rollins. There's 1. There's 2. Pirates get nothing.
The double play continues the jinx for Pirates when they get the bases loaded.
3 straight hits to start the inning. No runs scored.
PNC Park. I'm Robbie Mikowski, and I'm way up in the suite level here down the left field line. And I've got Beth Newton and Joe Robinson here, who pulled off one of the greatest surprises here at PNC Park tonight. They were engaged to be married, invited a bunch of friends and family here, and pulled off the wedding by surprise right here. And they're both from Shaler. Beth, what was this night like for all your friends? You know it was coming, but how did everybody else react?
I think everybody was pleasantly surprised. Everybody came out for a good time for a ball game, and they were happy for us.
And then just talk about you being a Pirates fan and what it means just to do it here at PNC Park at a Pirates game.
Oh, this is just absolutely fantastic. The atmosphere, the city, the PNC staff has been absolutely phenomenal, and I'd like to thank them for all their help.
And we're showing some pictures of you guys. You had the judge come in here wearing a Pirates shirt. And how did you pull off the surprise, Beth?
We just told everybody that I won it through work and asked them to come out and join us for a fun night at a ball game. Everybody who wanted to come came in, thought we had free tickets, and then we said, surprise, guess what? We're getting married here at the ball game tonight.
There it is, and it works out well. And Tim, you see Beth here wearing a Pirate shirt. If you can look at the rest of the fans here, you see a few Phillies fans. Beth's family is from the Philadelphia area, and Joe's family here is from Western PA. They're all Pirates fans, but obviously Joe pulled off the influence here and has her wearing the Pirate shirt. Good job out of him.
Yeah, at least, she's wearing the right colors now. It's all in the family now. So, yeah, the black and gold, that's where it's at.
We're talking baseball. Yeah, baseball and marriage.
Well, neat way to enjoy the ball game. A little different, but that's a great surprise they pulled off, I'm sure. 2-2 pitch to Carlos Ruiz, the catcher. Pops it up. Right field for Jose Tabata.
What is this business with the Pirates getting the bases loaded and coming away empty? A couple of times last night and tonight in business, but not automatic.
Marte pretty aggressive on the first pitch, rolled over on it. Room service double play ball for the Phillies. John Lannon, not an automatic out. Lannon went 3 for 4 at the plate against the Dodgers on Friday.
Didn't everybody? 16-1.
Yeah. And he became the last Philly pitcher, or the first Philly pitcher to do it since J.D. Durbin did it in 2007, having 3 hits in a game. I think 400 on the year. There was 4 hits on Friday. And Jeff Locke has fallen way behind Lannon, 3-0. And he's walked him on 4 pitches. That is
how do you figure?
That's a disappointing walk right there for Locke. He just, it's one thing, and you know, Steve.
How do you figure?
You just can't do that.
No, it was certainly not trying to, but crazy, those kind of things happen.
You tweet us your questions or comments, hashtag Bucks Booth. So Michael Young, top of the order, is up 1 out and 1 on for Philadelphia. And a strike is called. So whatever's on your mind about the Pirates. Got a question for Steve, question for us here in the booth. It's hashtag Bucks Booth. Oh, 1 toward right field. And drive right at Tabata. 2 gone. Good to see Jose back out there contributing. He's 1 for 1 with a base hit. A little defense so far. Pirates hope that his legs are healthy and he is 100%. Clint Hurdle now with a full bench once again. Last night a short bench with Compton here and Josh Harrison being sent back to AAA. When you swap the position player back for a pitcher, as Compton went back today, and you get your full complement of position players. Chase Utley drives this one deep to right field. Back it goes. It's off the base of the wall. John Lannon's going to get waved home. The throw is in time to get him. How do you like that? John Lannon gunned out.
These Pirates are finding ways to make things happen in a spectacular fashion. Didn't think that they had a chance, but they did.
throw by Neil Walker, and mostly the block of home plate by Russell Martin. McCutchen fields it off the wall. And picking up the 2-hopper and gunning an absolute strike was Neil Walker. And how about this block, Steve, by Martin at the plate?
Yep. There's where it starts, and Neil makes the great throw, and John Lannon's just leaking oil coming around third base. That helps too. Russell Martin's positioned beautifully, and it's always a gray line. Are you able to block and kind of fool the umpire into thinking that you have the ball early enough to justify blocking home plate without the baseball? But the Pirates get it done. I originally thought the ball was over the fence. I originally thought it was a home run, and then I thought there was absolutely no chance that far, and the ball bounced away from Jose, so Andrew had to pick it up, and all that was happening. But I've got circles around 4 and 2 because of the throw, because of the block.
We've seen some terrific relay throws from Neil Walker lately. Yeah, we talk about his defense. It gets better and better.
And I'll tell you, they had the perfect person running the bases. John Lannon, pitcher. He's a big guy, not a burner. And there he is. He's out there. He's a little wry smile. Yeah, just ran out of gas.
He's apologizing maybe for costing Utley an RBI.
There goes Big John, and it's a trot. He might think it's out of here, and then he has to get serious. And he's trying to get there, but the block is perfect.
Well, if he runs hard between first and second, he's probably safe.
Yeah.
Jordy Mercer. No balls and 1 strike to the Pirates shortstop. 1-1.
You've got a second baseman too that's not only picking it but has made some really strong throws and strong long throws. That was an absolutely perfect relay from right center field into Russell Martin.
To second base, Utley will throw out Jordy Mercer. 1 out for the Pirates in the third. Now, last night, Walker had a relay throw. Dominic Brown, the second inning, had a base hit. Snyder misplayed it. So an error, and then watch this relay throw, and a speedy Brown right there to Pedro. Couldn't have put it in a better spot. Pedro made the catch and tag in the same motion.
Yep, the throw came right in on top of the runner. If it's over by third base, closer, I don't think they get it, but the trajectory, the direction was absolutely spot on.
Andrew McCutchen takes ball 1. Bill Mazeroski loves that good second base defense.
Yep, watching his protege. And Billy keeping a close eye on things too.
1-0 pitch. Strikers called to Kutch. I think Clint Hurdle was talking about in his pregame meeting today with us was he's waiting for McCutchen to get hot. He said he's putting up very good offensive numbers, but he hasn't been hot yet like he was last June and July. And maybe a start right here with a base hit. McCutchen burning down to first base, a 1-out single. So he's reached base twice tonight, once with a walk and now with a base hit. Pirates have had base runners on in every inning now. Still nothing to show. It's time to start getting those runners in.
And even though the Pirates did not do anything against the bullpen last night, the Phillies bullpen has been scuffling. But they didn't last night. 3-1 win.
Lannon's throw to first base, and McCutchen is back. Gabby is 0 for 1, struck out swinging in the first. Lannon got him with a big changeup. In the throw to first, and McCutchen back. Kutch has 16 stolen bases. He's been caught 4 times.
Nothing dazzling on that move by Lannon. First 2 tries.
80% in terms of the success rate, stealing bases. And will step off.
You never know with the left-handers whether they got a better move or maybe a trickier move in their back pocket. I'll tell you, Pirate fans do not have much patience with guys throwing over the first base slot. I tell you, you hear it in this ballpark. They want action.
Ball one to Gabby.
Yeah, they don't want that routine throw over to first base. Let's get something done. And we're not only going to be over 30,000. We're full tonight.
Well, no room at the inn tonight. They're standing up several deep around the rotunda.
Every camera shot we got shows Bucco fans everywhere.
There's another ball outside, 2-0.
There.
Isn't that pretty?
That never fails to please. You got it all. Rotunda, always an indicator of a big night filled up with Pirate fans.
It's going to be this way again tomorrow. 30,000 last night. It was 31,000 here last night. 3-0 to Sanchez.
Yeah, let's load them up again. Take our chances again. People like that. Everywhere you look.
Everywhere you go around town, people are talking about the Pirates. 3-0. Sanchez takes a strike. You discovering that too? Going to a store, post office,
yep.
wherever, you're overhearing conversations.
Yep. How about your Pirates? How about your Buccos? And they deserve it. Waiting a long time.
3 balls and 1 strike. There it is, ball 4, 2 on and 1 out. Touching down to second and Sanchez to first. Well, as you can see, Pirates games are more fun in groups. Ask about how each member of your group can take home a Pirates cap or Roberto Clemente jersey with just the price of a ticket. Give your group a night to remember. Book your group outing by calling 1-800-BUY-BUCKS or go to pirates.com/groups. And like the couple that Robbie interviewed earlier, you can even have a surprise wedding here if you want. Bring your group in here that way. How many people are at your wedding? Oh, about 38,000. Russell Martin chops this one foul. Strike 1 to Russ.
And they were cheering for you all night.
Something old, something new, something borrowed, something black and gold. Oh, 1 pitch coming from Lennon. McCutchen takes off for third base. Throw by Ruiz, not in time on a stolen base. Gabby Sanchez stayed at first.
Andrew saw the opportunity and it gets a little busy with a right-hand batter up there. Ruiz steps in back of Gabby, but no contest at third base. Andrew apparently saw something he liked, took off.
There with the green light, and Gabby did not go, and the catcher can't throw to 2 bases, so the forced play is in order. But the go-ahead run 90 feet away with 1 out. So Martin a swing and a miss.
I just said Gabby at the plate, Russell Martin, so Ruiz had to step in back of him. That always maybe takes a little bit longer, but the thing you look for at second base is to see if that pitcher gets just the slightest bit careless.
And he strikes out. Second time Martin has gone down on strikes.
Good looking pitch by Lannon. Looked like a sinker, a 2-seamer tailing away from Russell. Yep. Pitcher's pitch.
Pirates 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position, but no runs produced. And that one was Neil Walker's little dribbler out toward shortstop when Alvarez was at second base.
Chase Utley joining that conference between Ruiz and Lannon, talking about how they want to play Alvarez or what they're going to try to do pitching wise against him. We're going to play him deep for one thing. Utley 2 or 3 steps on the grass.
Pedro takes strike 1.
Pedro would like to have that one back. Fastball right there.
229 on the season with runners in scoring position as a team. Again tonight, 1 for 6.
There, yeah, that was a sweet spot right there. Yep. So look at what Pedro would like to have back. Lannon would probably like to have it back too. Got away with it.
Probably let out a sigh of relief when Pedro took that pitch.
Yep. There's some of them, both parties want to have a do-over.
First pitch fastball, he got away with it. One and one. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
That almost hit his hands on the bat. That's in your kitchen right there. We'll watch Ruiz and see if he wants the breaking ball way away. See where the catcher moves. Yep. Yeah. Down too low to be effective.
Gabby Sanchez stole a base on Sunday that was pretty key. The Pirates come from behind win over the Brewers. Kind of a sneak attack on his stolen base.
A lot of bases are stolen that way. Somebody gets careless, you don't expect them to go, you don't pay as much attention. Bang, they're gone, and then it's too late.
Pedro strikes out on the 2-2 pitch. Ball throw down, ball getting away. And again, the Pirates leave a man in scoring position. They're 3 full, scoreless at PNC Park.
To you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
No runs on 5 hits for the Pirates. No runs on 2 hits for the Phillies. Top of the 4th inning. And boy, for the first 3 innings, Steve, the Pirates have had chance after chance to play to run and still haven't put anything across for Jeff Locke.
We're averaging 2 left on per per inning. 3 innings and 6 left on base so far. You're not getting the big hit. Not getting the big hit.
With Russell Martin and Pedro Alvarez striking out with runners on, and McCutchen got himself to third base. Marte hitting into a double play with the bases loaded and 1 out in the second.
But so far, Lock the Rock hasn't given up a run. But you'd like to give him some support, and he's had so many no decisions. As we said, with more run support, he could have 12 or 13 wins.
Rollins pulls this one foul for strike 1. Let's take a look at this tweet. Jason Vader 44 says Locke seems to be walking a lot of guys lately. As a pitcher, what adjustments can you make to not walk so many batters?
Well, there's a factor going on here for Jeff Locke with that subject. Ball that's in for a strike. Jeff does not work in the middle of the strike zone, in that hitting zone. So when you're fooling around inside, outside, on the corners, up at the top of the strike zone, the bottom, you're going to miss sometimes. You can't be perfect. So he's not giving in to throw it in the middle, so that's going to lend itself to some free passes.
Ground ball to Mercer. He loads up and throws out Jimmy Rollins.
Now the other side of that, is he getting hurt with those walks? No. He is getting the outs he has to. If he walks a guy, he's recovering, and he's still putting up zeros. Now, if he was getting hurt with a lot of runs scored, yep, you see Rollins, he's staying away from Rollins, throwing the ball where he wants to. If he's getting hurt, yeah, you'd say, okay, Jeff Locke is getting hurt because he's wild. He's walking a lot of people. But even with his walks, he is recovering, and there's a ball that could have been played, would have been an above average play, but they get the base hit. Yeah, if he's getting hurt, there's another issue, but he's not getting hurt. He's able to handle those free passes because he doesn't want to give in and come into that hitting area of the strike zone. So that's going to be a fact you got to deal with. But he's able to get it done. We had a perfect example early in the first or second inning. We got 3 and 2 on somebody. Well, he came back and got him.
Dominic Brown, the base hit. 1 out single. Surridge going for that multicolored pen. I don't know how many he's gotten there, but he's looking for one that works. Delman Young goes to right field. That's the 1,000th career hit for Young. And the Phillies now with 2 on and 1 out. A milestone hit for Delman Young. Breaking ball. That's the ball. That'll be held on to for Young. Back down to the clubhouse it goes and into protective custody. John Mayberry, 1 out 2 on. Mayberry pops it up right side. Gabby Sanchez running to the railing, but this will be over the dugout.
1 walk for Jeff tonight in a bizarre situation. He walked Landon on 4 pitches. If he walks people, he's getting out of those mini jams that might result from free passes. Yep, and you also have to temper everything by saying, sure, he'd like to have fewer walks, but he's not going to do it by throwing the ball down the middle of the plate.
A little bit low. 1-1. John Mayberry popped out and foul ground to Gabby Sanchez. 0 for 1 tonight.
The thing is, Jeff is working on a game in a stretch of games where the Pirates aren't scoring very much. So he's been down this road before several times. Several of his starts, he's not gotten much offensive support.
Pickoff attempt.
Close.
Only Brown got his arm back in.
The reason that play is close is he puts the ball right down where the tag can be applied. In other words, Walker doesn't have to reach left or right or go way up high. And the art of the pickoff is not just the quickness, but it's the accuracy of the throw. And a little cheating on occasion, if you can get away with it.
Occasionally. Well, explain how you cheated when you did it. Assuming that you mean yourself.
Well, to make a long story short, if I went to a stretch, I would throw the ball before I turned.
Yeah.
So if I've got the ball like this, I'm throwing and then turning, and it's a blur to the umpire. So it's technically a balk. So I've gotten rid of the ball before I turned, and you're supposed to at least turn the same time, if not before you release the ball. The ball was gone, and I'm turning, but to the umpire, that's kind of a gray area.
You ever get called for it?
Not once.
Not one time.
Not once. Should have done it more.
The Confessions of Steve Blass.
Yeah. Can I get expunged? Is there an expunge factor in that, or
there's probably a statute of limitations?
Yeah.
I would think. Yeah.
I know what expunge means too. Trust me.
Well, in baseball, you're always looking for an edge on the field somehow. You should kind of keep doing it until they tell you not to. Look at that smile, huh? He's got new baseball.
He got the thing around his neck too, whatever that does for people. He got that working.
Yeah, the rope necklace. One out and the 1-2. He pulled foul. We're gonna have to get you one of those, Steve. I saw the building where they're made in Seattle. I was a few blocks away from the hotel and walking around there one day, just checking out the city. I saw the place that makes those things.
Now, what do they do?
They're called fightings. They're
called fightings?
They make you look good. See? I mean, he's got one too. You got to have one, I guess.
I still don't know what to do.
They go around your neck. That's all I can tell you. Baseball fashion. Two balls and two strikes. Runners on first and second. Dominic Brown at second base. Delman Young, the runner at first. Two balls, two strikes. The pitch. Right there on the inside corner. Got him.
There's a Jeff Locke perfecta. Paints the inside corner. Range resources. Strike zone grid. Right there. There are men right now in 1,000 pubs that wish they could throw a dart like that. But they'll keep trying.
Only 1,000?
They'll keep trying if they don't. First strikeout of the night for Jeff. Couldn't come at a better time.
Well, Ben Revere at the plate. Ben Revere swinging and missing. Locke a 90-mile-an-hour heater. Well, word I'm getting on those callers is that the titanium
Isn't that banned in baseball? Use titanium.
A little looper to left field. Here comes Marte. He'll have to play it on a hop. Runner coming around third. Here comes the throw. It's offline, and the Phillies take the lead, and the runners are going to move up.
Starling off target tonight. That errant throw earlier that didn't have any implications, and I don't know if he's got a chance at home plate, but he just had that tailing throw that came in from left field. Too hot and too inaccurate to handle.
So base hit for Revere, and Marte is going to get charged with an error on the throw, allowing the runners to move up an extra station. Just a poor throw from Marte. He's got such a strong arm. Now Ruiz will be walked with first base open to get to the pitcher Lannon. But he's got such a rifle for an arm, and sometimes it's got to be controlled a little better. He's still learning. I remember Andrew McCutcheon's first season, Steve. He airmailed a lot of throws to the plate. But he has learned to control his arm. Makes much more accurate throws now. But he used to try it. He used to let him fly. Sell the cutoff or short hop the catcher or throw it up the line. The intentional walk to Ruiz. Now the bases are full of Phillies.
And you're looking to minimize damage. And here once again is why National League Baseball, in a lot of our opinions, is better. You as a pitcher, you work toward these situations. You got a chance to weave something in and out. You got some strategy involved. You got some ideas what you're trying to do down the bottom of the batting order. But he has not thrown a strike to John Lannon yet. 5 deliveries. And what you hope that happens here is that Jeff doesn't get frustrated. Why am I not throwing strikes to the pitcher? You can't do that. Those 5 deliveries are gone. Get your feet back on the ground here.
It's the first strike he's thrown to Lannon tonight.
And that was a good one too. And you said Lannon, Lannon's 4 and 6, 4 out of 6 coming into the game.
Yeah.
So you just don't want to throw it down the pipe either. That was a good strike that he threw.
He needs the strikeout here, or needs to get Lannon to make an out. And 2 men out and bases full.
Yeah, you don't want to give him too much respect. He's still a pitcher trying to hit. So I mean, you don't want to be careful times 10.
2-1 pitch coming. A little chopper foul up the right side. That's strike 2.
So you've got a critical situation right here because the Pirates aren't scoring much, and this is your opportunity to leave 3 runners on in a game where you have not seen much offense from the Pirates. You don't want to let this thing get out of hand here. You can put a stop to this right now. This is a big item right here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch. And just got a piece. 62 pitches for Jeff, 39 strikes. Phillies with 5 hits, and a run has been produced this inning. Lannon toward left field, slice foul. And a rare miss by a Pirate fan.
John Lannon is just trying to stay alive with fastballs. You wonder if Russell Martin will go to the breaking ball.
Did you see what the ball girl did? That is Amanda down there, and the guy that made the effort with the glove and dropped it is completely bypassed by the ball girl, so the little girl here could get a souvenir.
You botch the play, you don't get the rewards.
This one a looper. Pedro's got it.
He gets out of it.
Phillies leave him loaded, but a run comes in. 3 hits in the inning and 1 error. 1-0 Phillies after 3.5. Let's go back to Sidney Crosby's rookie year for his first game against the Philadelphia Flyers. After taking a high stick to the face, the kid returns to the game undeterred and leads the Pens to an overtime victory. Here, exclusive interviews from Sidney Crosby himself, Brooks Orpik, Eddie Olczyk, Doc Emmerich as well, while you relive this unforgettable game on Sunday Night Classics, Bloodied but Unbowed. Sunday at 8 on Root Sports. 1-0 Phillies heading to the bottom of the fourth inning with Robbie Ince-Mikowski and Steve Blass. I'm Tim Neverett. Big crowd on hand again tonight. The Pirates, who've won 9 of the last 10 ball games, have the best record in Major League Baseball. Jeff Locke, by his standards, touched up a bit. You know, he has not given up a run in any of his last 3 home starts prior to tonight. He's given up just 1 run in his last 4 home starts. Jose Tabata looks at a pitch outside for a ball.
And one other thing, he's worked 4 innings, given up 5 hits. His hits to innings ratio has been silly. It's been so good. And now he's given up 1 more hit than innings pitched tonight. That's unusual for him.
Jose taking all the way, just flashed a bunt. 1-1. Tabata 1 for 1. Base hit in the second inning.
The left-hander on the mound last time out got 16 runs of support. Lennon worked against the Dodgers. And he was the owner of a 3-hit game.
Went 7 innings and allowing just 1 run on his side. Got his first win as a Philly. Gets 16 runs.
Should win most of the time.
Should win. 2-2 to Jose. Two balls, 2 strikes to Jose Tabata. Leading off the Pirates' 4th. Fly ball out of play down the right side. Well, Jose has hit .406 over his last 32 at bats with the Pirates. 13 out of 32. Back to a game that he had in New York against the Mets on the 11th of May. Tied a career high, had 4 hits and 3 runs batted in. Also homered in that game and scored 3 times. So had a wonderful game that day against the Mets, but 24th ended up going on the disabled list after that game. His 15th start of the season in right field. This one popped up and playable. Delman Young calling for it. Makes the catch, and Tabata is retired, 1 out in the Pirates' half of the 4th inning. Jose is 1 for 2. Walker's 1 for 1. Had an infield single in the second inning. Pretty night in Pittsburgh. That's a great sight. Not a bad seat up there either, even though you're standing.
That's a wild shot against the horizon there. The edge of the world.
Ball, 1 strike to Walker. Hit safely in 9 of his last 11 games against Philadelphia. Popped it up. Jimmy Rollins out. Dominic Brown calls him off. And there are now 2 out for the Pirates. Tonight's AGH Sports Medicine injury update. Phil Irwin had surgery today to transpose the ulnar nerve in his right arm. Typically the recovery time for this type of surgery is 2 months. Irwin made 1 start for the Bucks back in April, but has only made 1 start since for AAA Indy. Injury update brought to you by our friends at Allegheny Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pirates.
And Speaking of injury, Darren Dalton, longtime Philly, great guy, great ball player, underwent brain surgery, brain cancer, and we just hope for the best for him, his family and friends. Very popular guy, longtime Philly, Darren Dalton. Former number right there, 10.
Jeff Locke fouls this one off. Wandy Rodriguez still not able to go. James McDonald still not able to go. Jeff Karsten's in front of him wearing the glasses tonight. He's still about 4 weeks away from being able to throw after having surgery not too long ago. Jeff's pretty anxious to start throwing again. He says he feels better every day. A.J. Burnett pitched a simulated game yesterday. All indications were very good, and today did a running workout. So I'm not sure on when A.J. is coming back. Probably don't expect him to go on a rehab stint. But A.J.'s calf seems to be coming along. Locke has worked a 7-pitch at bat. If anything, he's had Landon throwing a few extra pitches. Payoff pitch. He walked him.
Turnabout's fair play.
So Landon returns the favor and walks Jeff Locke. Comes with 2 outs, and the Pirates will go back to the top of the order. Starling Marte.
Number 3. Always frustrating. Many times unexplainable.
Marte 1 for 2.
I'd just like to see somebody break the spell, hit the ball over the fence, although Landon has been known in his career to keep the ball in the ballpark. Just one given up in 6 starts before tonight. Somebody unload. Break the spell.
Pirates have been taking a lot of first pitch strikes, so Landon taking advantage and firing him in there, getting ahead in the count. And the ground ball slowly hit to Rollins at short. They'll get the force out of Locke, and the Pirates done in the 4th inning. Head to the 5th. Philadelphia with a 1-0 lead.
On the farm from Indianapolis is outfielder Andrew Lambo, named the International League's Player of the Week a couple days ago, and he's had a fantastic run here with the Indianapolis Indians so far. Lambo in the past week batted .500, went 9 for 18 in 6 games, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. He slugged over 1,000. He is the leader in the Pirates minor leagues in combined home runs and RBIs. That's both with AA and with AAA. And Larry Broadway, the director of minor league operations for the Pirates, really credited Andrew Lambo, Tim, And Steve, on his ability, number one, he stayed healthy. He's dealt with a lot of adversity over the last couple of years, but this year he's been able to remain healthy and also had a good start to the season in Double-A, thus his promotion up to Triple-A. He showed up to camp in great physical condition, and his drive is renewed this year. So here's another guy, when you look at other prospects, and we talked about the depth that the Pirates have and different guys being able to step in, Lambo well on his way to possibly being one of those guys.
I remember Lambo came over from the Dodgers with James McDonald in the deal for Octavio Dotel a few years ago, so Lambo may turn out to pay some pretty big dividends too. Michael Young fouls this one off.
We have been trying for years to stockpile the minor leagues, so it's not just a one-trick pony for 1 year. You establish a pipeline to keep producing prospects, keep moving the chains, and just keep it coming. Seems like we're following that script pretty well.
Lambo was considered a very good prospect at the time, and certainly
big part of that deal.
Living up to expectations.
Maybe
right
the
now.
biggest part of that deal.
Strike on the corner, 1-2 to Michael Young.
Well, Jeff Locke, just hold the fort until these bats can wake up.
Ball and 2 strikes. Locke shakes off Martin. Now the pitch. Ground ball to short. 1 out. And Michael Young is 0 for 3. To the Twitterverse, Steve.
Bring him on. Bring him on.
See what we got. Pittsburgh 9653. Does playing the day after having a long winning streak get snapped affect a way the team approaches the game?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not a relief. You want to keep it going. So it's just one of those games that is behind you, not the game that you're looking forward to tonight. I don't believe has really any effect. You don't relax because it's over. You want it to continue. Well, we do get that question all the time. I mean, that's a natural question. The one that got me was the one that you went after an off day. And the Pirates are convinced that they have an approach that helps them handle that situation. Not everybody agrees with it, but if the Pirates agree with it and it's working, and it has been working, keep on trucking. 2-0,
and the Pirates have just shifted after the first 2 pitches of the at-bat. Those are now on the second base side. And that's ball 3 to Utley.
I think a lot about wins after an off day have to do with your starting pitcher that next day.
Sure does. Well, Pirates believe that what they're doing shift-wise this year has helped them out quite a bit. Well, ball 4, pretty good-looking pitch by Locke, but it missed somewhere. And Utley is aboard.
3 walks, 1 intentional. One by Jeff.
Jimmy Rollins 0 for 2. Phillies got their run last inning. Dominic Brown a base hit, Delman Young a base hit, and then an RBI single by Ben Revere.
Rollins with pretty similar numbers from both sides of the plate.
Batting average a little bit lower than he normally sees it. 263, now 261. Well, the Phillies traditionally have not done well since this ballpark opened here. They are 15-24 at PNC Park. Phillies 5 games under 500 on the road this year, 21-26. Pulled off a road victory last night, 3-1 over the Pirates in the opener of the series. Pirates went to Philadelphia in April. Ryan Howard not in the lineup tonight. Charlie Manuel goes with Mayberry, a right-handed bat against the lefty Locke. But the Pirates took 3 out of 4 in April in Philadelphia. Strike 3 called, and Rollins down on strikes.
Number 2. I've got a feel as you watch this replay of this pitch on the inside corner, picking it up, that Jeff is not the dominant Jeff right now. He's grinding. He's working hard. He's throwing a lot of pitches, but he is keeping everything together. And you just don't roll everything and have all these 1, 2, 3 innings all the time. It just doesn't happen all the time. There are times where you really have to work and grind. And Jeff's grinding a little bit. Now, he hasn't been hurt significantly at all. Not saying that. But we've also seen him just run those 1, 2, 3 innings off, one after another, after another, after another at times. And just working a little harder tonight, but he's getting it done.
And Brown will take ball 1. He became the first player in Major League history, Brown did, to have at least 10 home runs in a calendar month without a walk. Did not walk in the month of May. Pitch inside, Utley bluffed to go. 2 balls and no strikes. How unusual is that? You've got a guy who's really hitting for power now, and Brown.
That's unusual if you're hitting 214, not to get walked in a month.
But to not even get intentionally walked in a situation, maybe first base open in some situation, just didn't get walked.
Huge
Here goes
jump.
Utley, and
Thank you.
Brown does the Bucks a favor.
He was guessed right, and it probably would not have been a throw. He's off to the races. You watch Chase Utley play. I believe he's one of the more intense players that I've seen in the National League. He is really serious about his craft. Almost nicked him.
Locked behind Dominic Brown. 3 balls, 1 strike. 2 down. Phillies half of the 5th. Chase Utley played his college ball at UCLA. There he goes. Nope. This one on the ground, and Walker with a snare on the outfield grass.
Nice play.
Throws out Brown. And no runs, no hits, 1 left. Halfway home at PNC Park, 1-0 Phillies. Show for it. Down to the bottom of the 5th inning. John Land getting set to face 2, 3, and 4 in the Pirates order. Jordy Mercer, Andrew McCutchen, and Gabby Sanchez. Well, Landon ready to go. Apparently Jordy wasn't, so he asked for and got time from Paul Emmel. Jordy's 0 for 2. First ball swinging into center field. Then Revere makes the catch.
Tim got a nice note from Bob Marcinetti, a lifer fantasy camper.
Yeah.
A little under the weather, but he's recovering nicely and catches the Bucks on Root Sports every game. So Bob, good to hear from you. And things are looking up, getting better. It's off the DL.
How about this guy?
He's looking for some offense, isn't he?
He is. He wants McCutchen to hit one out. McCutchen is 1 for 1 with a stolen base and a walk. He has reached base safely twice tonight. Hitting .295, getting his average a little closer to 300 again. He hasn't been able to get over that mark and stay over that mark. But maybe now's the time he starts to heat up. He's been very productive, but sometimes he goes through phases where he's really hot. And this is going to be another base hit for McCutchen. He's 2 for 2.
Yeah, and whoever got to that ball, that was going to be a base hit. Young was able to cut it off, but if it gets past him, it's going to be too late for Rollins to do anything with it. So it's just a matter of who's going to wind up with the baseball.
So with the right-handed bats up right now, take a look at the numbers against lefties. Marte 411, Mercer 414, McCutchen 315, and Sanchez 314. Big slugging percentages down the bottom of those columns. 8 and 4 against left-handed starters since the 11th of April. Time for the alarm to go off and the bats to wake up.
Wake up call. Yep.
Sanchez, hot shot off the glove of Young into left field. McCutchen's going to stop at second base. And now the Pirates with runners at first and second. A base hit for Sanchez.
Boy, mixed emotions there. It was almost a disappointing emotion when Michael Young went up in the air, if he was going to be able to catch it, but then elation as it went off the glove, and I thought it might die in no man's land for Andrew to get around to third, but a really hustling job by Brown to come in and get that ball before Andrew, who had to play in front of him, could think about going to third base. There's the hustling play by the Philadelphia left fielder. Landon will probably keep a closer eye on Andrew now after Andrew stole third base on him last time out there.
And Gabby will watch too at first. He was stuck at first base, didn't move up. One ball, no strikes to Russell Martin. Martin has struck out twice tonight. Had the pinch hit walk-off single in the 14th inning Sunday.
A good shot of the pitcher and the base runner. Landon give him a look. That's a different look when you've got the runner at second base who has all kind of room to take a lead, and you've got the pitcher in the same frame.
That's a base hit. McCutchen's going to round third. He's coming to the plate. Revere the throw. No way they get him. Tie game. 1-1. Pirates with 3 straight hits. And Russell Martin drives in his 31st man of the year.
All we had to do is show you the averages and the production of the right-hand hitters against lefties. That's all we had to do to open the floodgates to score a run. Oh, how about that shot? Good looking stuff as Andrew's going to outrun the baseball here, as he usually does.
AGH camp slowing it down. You see the determination in the face of McCutchen.
Not only sliding, getting ready to go into that slide, but checking where the catcher is set up. Now we get Landon back on his heels a little bit and have Pedro drop the hammer on him.
One and 0 to Alvarez. Pedro 1 for 2. Pedro hitting .241.
Pedro hits this one well to right center field. It is going. It is gone. El Toro strikes again. Home run number 21. A 3-run shot, and the Pirates up 4-1.
Running with the Bulls. He dropped the hammer on him, and that's what these people have been waiting for since 7:05. On their feet, 35,000+ loving their Pirate third baseman. The floodgates have opened. Set him up with the right-hand hitters. Drop the hammer with the lefty. Right there. And right there.
Well, remember, the last at bat, the first pitch he took was in exactly that same spot.
He wasn't going to take it again.
See, he's so strong, that could be an average fly ball for a lot of hitters, but that strength carries it to Xfinity.
And beyond us, Tabata hits one to right center. And Revere makes the catch. Pedro Alvarez enjoying the 3 more RBIs, 54, 55, and 56.
Oh, have we been waiting for that swing all night long? And we got it.
Neil Walker takes low ball 1. Just the second home run Landon has given up this season. Sanchez and McCutchen also hitting. 4 straight hits. McCutchen, Sanchez, Martin, then the home run by Alvarez. And a base hit for Walker. He is 2 for 3. 5th hit in the inning for the Pirates.
Out over the plate, push it to right field, get yourself a knock. Well, was that some kind of roar out of this ballpark? When that ball landed in the stands, this place got busy.
Jeff Locke swings, and he lines it to left field for a base hit. And now things really going Jeff Locke's way.
And instantly after that base hit, action in the Philadelphia bullpen.
6th hit in the inning against Landon.
Yep. Little smooth stroke out to left field. Rich Doobie going to come out and talk to John Lannon and see if he can stop this rhythm the Pirates have going. All of a sudden, you never know. It just breaks loose.
Funny game that way. Isn't it? I mean, how many times do you see things just dormant for a while? And
well, things can change. One pitch can change the whole direction of things. Yep. Nothing happening, and all of a sudden now, you can't buy an out.
Well, another packed house, sellout crowd
Set the alarm for the 5th inning here for the Pirates, and the bats woke up.
And, you know, we have all kind of information and all kind of numbers and statistics, and yep, those are all well and good for preparation, but sometimes things just happen, and they happen, and you don't know why. They just happen, and that's one of the charms of the game.
Marte, a bunt base hit into a double play, and he grounded out, so 1 for 3. Takes ball 1. El Toro striking for the 21st time this year. And that will put him in a tie for 2nd in the National League in home runs with Dominic Brown of the Phillies.
Well, you'd love to see Marte run into something, even the center field, because Revere, like a lot of center fielders, plays a very confident, shallow center field. A lot of room in back of him, between him and the wall. And you get a lot of carry on the ball to center field. You could have a lot of fun around the base paths.
Up high. Pedro Alvarez now 1 home run behind the National League leader Carlos Gonzalez of Colorado, who has 22.
And I tell you, when he does these spectacular things, he seems to keep himself on an even keel. He doesn't get overly carried away, nor does he get devastated with a strikeout. So Pedro's kind of guy that keeps track of things, keeps him on a good level.
Well, Alvarez is now one of 7 players in Pirates history to have at least 21 home runs by the All-Star break. Willie Stargell leads the way. He did it 4 times. And vote for Pedro, will you? Go to Pirates.com and you can vote for Pedro up to 35 times this year. You can vote. As a Pirates third baseman, certainly is a guy that the National League could use for some power in the All-Star game.
Isn't it great to have a bunch of candidates instead of one? Remember all the years, who is going to be the Pirate All-Star? Who is going to be selected, named to the team? And now you've got some attention on this ball club, and you've got some attention on some of the players. Pedro Alvarez keeping it together.
Runners go, and Marte hits it in the air to left field. Brown will get under it. He'll make the catch. Pirates put 4 up. 6 hits. First ball, fastball. Pedro Alvarez hits it out. Home run number 21. After 5, the Bucks up 4-1.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Shots and by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Well, it's a new ball game now. 11 hits and 4 runs. Pirates on top of the Philadelphia Phillies in Game 2 of this 3-game series this holiday week.
Glad you're with us watching Pirates baseball with Robbie Makowski and Steve Blass. I'm Tim Neverett. Pedro Alvarez now with 56 RBIs. And he has tied Jay Bruce of Cincinnati for 6th in the National League in RBIs, 2nd in home runs.
And that 4 spot makes it a little easier to take that number on the left on base, because the Pirates have now left 9 base runners on. It's an instant offense.
2 balls, no strikes to Delman Young. Delman Young 2 for 2. 3 out of 5 in the series, and an RBI in last night's game. Takes a strike.
And you mentioned that Jeff Locke has gone 7 innings his last 3 starts. He's working hard to get to that area. He's got the lead now. He's been working hard. He's been grinding.
And Delman Young 3 for 3. Have a night. Well, now it's time for the whiff, brought to you by Head and Shoulders, now with Old Spice. We're back to the 4th inning.
John Mayberry and Jeff Locke working hard there. Gets the foul ball and the fastball. Missing downstairs, and then another foul ball, and it's going to start going to the breaking ball. 1, 2, and then the fastball right on the inside corner. Lock City, pardon the pun, but he gets the call. 3rd strike on the inside corner. Jeff Locke working hard here in the 6th.
Mayberry 0 for 2, and the pitch to him is in for a called strike. Mayberry batting .257 for the Phils.
The highest number of pitches that Jeff has thrown in a ball game, 104. Last time out. He will be throwing pitch number 87 here.
A strike call to him, 0-2. 4th of June against Miami. That'll be a date Mayberry will never forget. He became the first player in big league history to hit 2 home runs in extra innings in 1 game. And one of them was a walk-off grand slam. That's a good day.
Nice way to finish things up.
Even if it is extra innings.
Nice way to finish your day.
Marlins certainly will never forget it either.
A lot of things the Marlins probably want to forget this year.
They want to, yeah. In fact, well, maybe not tonight. They're ahead of the Atlanta Braves in the 6th, 4-2. In the last month or so, the Marlins have improved a little by little. Still in last place in the National League East. Phillies still in front of them, but Miami 18.5 back. But they've won 7 of their last 10. Backs up Mayberry. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And talking about home runs, Mr. Chris Davis has just hit his 32nd to lead the major leagues. Baltimore Orioles.
Pedro Alvarez now 2nd.
Sorry, we'll take our 21st and be happy with it.
1-2. Did he go?
Almost. They're going to appeal.
There's Conway at first.
They were ready and did appeal. Denied.
We talk about Pedro Alvarez as an all-star candidate.
Get him in there and get him in the home run hitters contest.
The production offensively certainly is there. Defensively, yeah, he's had some errors here and there. He's had 15 of them.
The big boys, that's a detail with the big boys. Now, it's my understanding that you don't have to be on the all-star team to be in the home run hitters contest. That's my understanding. I don't know if that's been confirmed or not. It's kind of unusual. But he's got the kind of swing that could get things done.
3-2 in the air to left and carrying Marte toward the track, and he will make the catch.
Big left field at PNC Park.
Mayberry's out. 1 man down.
So what are the other third basemen doing
in the National League? Why do you think Pedro Alvarez should be there? Well, 21 home runs now and 56 RBIs.
coming into tonight as Bush's batting average is up too. Sandoval 8-37. David Wright, who is of the host team, the Mets, 12-42. Ryan Zimmerman of the Nationals, 9 home runs, 43 RBI. Those are your top 4 third basemen batting wise in the National League, and why not? Pedro could go. And you know, Steve, and I know it's an unpopular topic sometimes, but with it determining home field advantage now, you want to get guys who can win a game with one swing. One of 2 Pittsburgh third basemen with 20 home run seasons and back-to-back years. Bobby Bonilla in '88 and '89. That's a foul ball. Justin Wilson active now for the Pirates in the pen.
Yeah, you just get the feel with Jeff working and working well that you're going to keep a close eye on him, because it's not been squeaky clean. It's clean.
1 on, 1 out. Count is 1-1 to Ben Revere. He drove in the Phillies' run in the 4th. Takes outside.
It's kind of funny with Jeff. Like, he has spoiled us. He's been squeaky clean so often that, I mean, he's still pitching very, very well. He's given up 1 run. But he has shown us so much. He has raised our expectations.
A looper right to Jordy Mercer. 2 men out.
I think that's getting in on him, sawing him off a little bit.
Soft line drive.
Right off the handle of the bat. That's many times a result of that kind of a quality pitch inside, right on the corner, and the way the guys lunge to protect that outside part of the plate. Sometimes they'll just get out there so far they can't do anything with a pitch on the inside corner, but hit it off the hands. That's all they can do. Pretty much the case there.
Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, takes a strike. And Ruiz tonight is 0 for 1. Was intentionally walked in the 4th. Back in the 3rd, he flied out to Tabata. Two out, 1 on for Philly.
And
1 strike.
Not to get so far ahead of anything, but if Jeff Locke gets another out, and we certainly hope that he does right here, as he gets up right around the 100 pitch count, that activity we see in the bullpen could be activity coming into work in the 7th inning. But we'll see. We'll let the manager and the pitching coach work on those areas.
In each bullpen. Philippe Beaumont still throwing. And the liner to left.
Just muscled that pitch inside out to left field for the base hit.
Second hit given up by Locke in the 6th. So Locke getting around that 100 pitch mark. And this will bring up pinch hitter Kevin Franzen, and he is not going to face Jeff Locke. It's going to do it for Locke, as Clint Hurdle wants Justin Wilson. So Jeff Locke will leave with a 3-run lead.
And he will hear it nicely from this crowd as he has worked hard tonight.
5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run so far. Over his last 4 starts at home, Jeff Locke has given up just the single run you see on the board now.
Pirates with a 4-1 lead. Top of the 6th inning, 2 men out. Well, time's running out to vote for your 2013 All-Star selections. You can help send your favorite Pirates to the All-Star game by voting up to 35 times at Pirates.com. Vote exclusively at Pirates.com or on your mobile phone. Voting ends tomorrow, 1 minute before midnight. So you have until tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Again, you can vote up to 35 times at Pirates.com. So please get busy.
Justin Wilson, 47 innings, just 28 hits. Very good batting average against numbers for the Pirate left-hander.
Facing Kevin Franzen, the pinch hitter. Strike one call.
So the package around those numbers you're just talking about, you see the innings and hits. That's very, very impressive. Batting average against, as a result of those numbers, 176.
Philadelphia leads the major leagues in hits from their pinch hitters with 34. Also 54 total bases. 5th in the big leagues in pinch hitting average as a team at 276. 308 for Franzen. Ball, 1 strike.
I wonder if Russell was crossed up there.
Trying to get on the same page with Wilson.
Or maybe just a little friendly advice.
Working the clay out of the spikes.
Still working hard. Now see, that's the way. You should have that kind of tool. You shouldn't have anything really sophisticated. Either that or a wire brush.
Like kind of a paint scraper, some sort of a scraper there.
Yep.
1-1 pitch to Franzen. 2 balls and a strike.
He probably used that when he was in high school, had a summer job, scraping paint off somebody's house up in New Hampshire. And now the plot thickens, 3-1. With runners at first and second and 2 out. You want this out. You want it really, really bad. You want to put up that 0 after you take the lead.
The 3-1 pitch from Wilson. The count is full.
Yeah, that's 96 miles of steamroller coming at you. And right downstairs. Nicely done.
Myers will take off with this pitch. Isn't it easier if he takes those off and does that?
Everybody has a different approach when you leave the ball game.
There's a base hit by Franzen. Runner's going to come around third. And the Phillies get another run. As Delman Young comes in to score. Another pinch hit for the Phillies. That's their 35th as a team.
Yeah, and I don't know what Tabata was seeing in right field because he broke toward the line. Not sure what that's. Oh, no, minimal damage. They got the run and the 2 outs. They were going to go first and third anyway. But watch the base hit, and now you see Jose come into the picture.
You see him going toward the line. That's a little odd. Michael Young at the plate. Now the Phillies with a tying run aboard, 2 outs. For 3 tonight. Michael Young had such a good career in the American League with the Texas Rangers. Long period of time, multi-time All-Star. And in 06, when the All-Star game was played here at PNC Park, Michael Young, representing the Rangers, was honored at the end of the game with the MVP award.
Very dangerous all the time, but especially with a 2-0 count.
Wilson getting behind the Phillies' third baseman. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Still tough to catch up with 96-mile-an-hour heat.
That's a little big. Parrot's head gets a little big sometimes too. I'm surprised that hat still fits him. After he fell over the railing on Sunday and was seen all over national television. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The bird was chirping about it the other day.
Hardest working parrot in baseball.
Justin Wilson, a 2 ball, 2 strike count. The pitch. Ground ball towards short. And Jordy Mercer makes an error. Phillies get another run. It's a 1-run ball game. Ruiz comes in to score. Routine ground ball booted. And another run for Philadelphia.
And that's a hurting thing. Hard hit. Right at Jordy. 1-run ball game. Ball came up off the heel of the glove, and what you see is what you get.
Pitching coach Ray Searage out for a visit. That's the 7th error that Jordy Mercer has committed this year.
Closes the book on lock, I believe.
And Junmar Gomez starting to throw. Tonight would have been the night Junmar would have started, but pushed to the bullpen with Locke's start being moved back a day. Garrett Cole will start on schedule tomorrow. Tying runs in scoring position, 2 outs. Chase Utley at the plate. Phillies have the go-ahead run on base. Michael Young at first. Strike 1 to Utley. Utley was 1 for 2. He doubled in the 3rd inning, and on the play, John Lannon, who was walked with 1 out trying to score from first base, was thrown out on a relay. McCutchen to Walker to Russell Martin. And that ended the inning.
And you never know on a play like that, play to Jordy Mercer, if in that situation he might peek a little bit, looking to whether he's going to make the play at second base or whether he's got to make the play to first. Sometimes you just peek a little bit and that ball will come up on you, or you just lose track of it momentarily, or whether it just came up on him and just got to the heel of the glove.
Out in front, 79 on the gun. Wilson pulled the string a little bit. Gets ahead of Utley, 1 and 2.
Big change in speed there when you go from 96 to 78, 79. If Locke can win it, cannot lose it.
Caught part of the backstop, the very edge of it.
And it lost that ball after it got deflected. No, we needed a big out. Thought we got it. We didn't. Still need it to maintain the lead. The curve again. That's a good major league hitter right there. He didn't get a base hit, but he did a good job of staying alive against a guy who's throwing a lot of heat and then coming off of the breaking ball.
So the book closed on Locke now. He has been charged with all 3 Philadelphia runs. Omar Gomez still continues to loosen up in the Pirates' pen. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Utley.
And now Utley has seen everything that Justin Wilson has. He's been able to stay alive with his work against a real good fastball, fouled off a good curveball that Justin probably thought he had a good chance of getting the out with, and now Russell Martin. They want to figure out what they want to try next. They've shown him everything.
Jeff Locke can only watch and wait right now.
Yep. Some pitchers, when they come out of a game like Locke, they'll go in the clubhouse, or they'll pace, or they'll sit there. Everybody has a little different approach. He's not going anywhere.
Off the equipment of Russell Martin. Count stays 2-2.
Takes a pretty good shot. Another fastball. That one 97 or 98. Utley gets a piece of.
It's a good thing for catcher's masks, huh?
Whew. You know, that mask is there and it protects you, but you still feel that thing. That's taking a shot.
2-2 pitch. Utley just got a piece of it. Stays alive. Eight pitches this at bat. This will be the 9th.
Yep. That's why Utley is good. That's why Justin Wilson is good. Nobody's blinked yet. Nobody's given in.
Two on, 2 out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Justin Wilson delivers. And Chase Utley foul tips it into the mitt of Russell Martin and strikes out. But the Phillies strike back for 2 runs on 3 hits. There was 1 error and 2 left. 4-3 Pirates halfway through the 6th. Cincinnati that Rob brings us.
Yep.
At this point in time, keeping the Reds down at least to this point in the game. 4-3 Pirates with the lead, and here is Philippe Aumont, comes on for the 2nd straight night. Pitched against the Pirates last night. Pitched an inning.
6'7". He's big enough. Landon goes 5 innings, giving up the 4 runs on 11 hits, walked 3, struck out 5. Starters still pitchers of record.
Locke visiting with A.J. Burnett. Getting a chance to debrief. Jordy Mercer takes a strike.
Still in line to win. You don't think Jordy Mercer's looking for a redeemer right here after that error?
The Pirates certainly want to get some insurance. 1 for 7 in the series is Jordy. Chopper down to third base. Young backed up onto the step. Throws him out. 1 gone. So Mercer's out. 1 out for the Pirates. At the bottom of the 6th inning. Here's McCutchen facing Omar. And McCutchen 2 for 2 with a run scored. He's also walked, so he's been on base all 3 times.
Inching up toward that 300 mark.
Might get there tonight. Omar stretch. And McCutchen to the gap in right center field. That's going to split the outfielders. McCutchen rounding first, heading for second. He'll stutter step and go for third. And Andrew McCutchen is in with a triple. That's triple number 1 on the season for Andrew McCutchen.
He caught the gap, and then Rivera going over looked like he had just a little hesitation, little problem picking the ball up, and that's all it takes for Andrew. He'll outrun the rest of it. Center cut, and he makes him pay.
McCutchen around second.
Yeah, he sees the bobble. He knows he's got action from the batter's box, and that look, and that second look tells him he's got it. Yep, there's the little slide, little slip. Never did lose the ball, just the body problem. Fortunately, there was a backup at third base.
Infield drawn in with 1 out and Gabby Sanchez at the plate. Chance for Gabby to get a run back.
Yeah, this would be good to answer because the Phillies answered. Now, if the Pirates can answer, even if it's 1 run, the run is big. The psychological effect is a good feel.
I told you earlier, Clint Hurdle talking about McCutchen getting hot at some point. Figures he's going to get hot pretty soon. Well, good start right now. 3 for 3 tonight. Sanchez with a 1 ball 1 strike count. And now Gabby needs a good situational at bat to get the run in. Beaumont pitched the 7th inning last night. Gave up 2 hits, no runs, didn't strike anybody out or walk anybody. 1-1 coming to Gabby. Outside. Watch Andrew McCutchen going in here.
Yeah.
Probably relieved to get that first triple.
Liking it. And he has hit that 300 level. And counting.
Another ball going away. McCutchen at an even 300. Hopefully that starts climbing from here. So Martin on deck. 3-1, 1 out. McCutchen at third. Phillies infield is in. Hits it.
Plot thickens. Right in the ribs. And on top of that, the Phillies now set up a possible double play situation. They'll give way up the middle. Lefty Diekman warming up in the bullpen just in case they get down to Pedro.
Russell Martin had an RBI single in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. Looking to bunt, maybe. Takes a ball. If he was going to bunt it here, it would have been a safety situation with McCutchen at third base, not a suicide squeeze. So with 1 out, that's the time you look for that suicide, right?
Yeah, but I don't know with Russell Martin. I'm a little surprised. I'd be very surprised in the building. That'd be probably one of the most surprised in the building. They didn't turn the swing loose.
2 balls, no strikes.
I just think it's so ironic tonight. The Pirates have 4 runs. They loaded the batting order up with right-handers, and who does the damage? The lone left-hand bat. Well, the lone left-hand bat, not counting Jeff Locke, but Jeff
did a little damage too.
Yep, he got a base hit.
Got his 2nd hit of the year tonight.
He deserves some offense to secure a win.
Garrett Cole on the left. He'll start tomorrow afternoon against Cole Hamels of the Phillies. In front of a packed house. A lot of folks anxious to see Garrett Cole pitch. Many of them for the first time in person. Phillies will play for 2 in the middle here. 1st and 3rd for the Bucks. 3-0 to Martin. Pedro Alvarez, look over his shoulder. Ready for the 3-0. And Martin rips it down the left field line. McCutchen will score. Gabby Sanchez rounding second, heading for third. He's in there safe, and Martin into second base. It's 5-3 Pirates. Second RBI of the night for Russell Martin.
Large, and they're still in business. Charlie's going to make a change, even with first base open. Green light.
Gabby Sanchez gets on his horse right away. He knows he's got to go to third base. Charlie Manuel comes out to get Omar. And the Phillies have another reliever coming in. Pirates adding another run.
Pirates history on this day in 2010. The Pirates hosting the Phillies, just like tonight in the second inning. El Toro struck for the first time. Career home run, #1. It was off Kyle Kendrick. Pedro Sr. loved it. And 3 years later, he now has a total of 71 homers in his still young career. Thanks to Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. 5-3 Buccos. Rooting for the Bucks here tonight on Root Sports. Glad you're with us.
And the Pirates do get into the Phillies bullpen. We mentioned early in the game, the bullpen has been a struggle for the Philadelphia Phillies. Almont not having a good outing, and now Jake Diekman coming in. He was recalled in the middle of June from the AAA, carrying a 5.70 AAA ERA with him.
And the pitch to Pedro is in the dirt. Ball 1. Two for 3 tonight. A 3-run home run in the 5th inning off of the left-hander John Lannon. His 3rd home run off a left-handed pitcher this year. Phillies with the infield in. Goes to the backstop. Here comes Gabby. 6-3 Pirates.
And the ball hangs up on the concrete just below the screen. That was just to make sure there was going to be no play at home plate.
That run is charged to Oman.
No chance. Baseball up on the shelf.
Gabby being careful. Sometimes you never know how it's going to bounce off the rock.
The rebound, and there is no rebound.
Russell Martin now stands at third base. 1 out.
Cash it in. Cash it in.
Phillies were trying to cut it down on a ground ball, but Pedro trying to hit the ball in the air somewhere. Get Russell Martin in. 13 hits for the Pirates tonight. They lead 6-3.
This is one of those games you don't know how many you're going to need.
Foul tip into the glove for a strike.
Another RBI in the doorstep there for you, Pedro.
Swung and missed. 2-2.
Couple of pitches appearing to be sliders that Pedro swung through. You know, the great thing about Pedro Alvarez, you know, fans may on occasion quit on him when he strikes out a lot, and you can break your heart that way, but Pedro doesn't quit on himself. I think that's the foundation that is so big for him.
Full count to Alvarez.
He has his approach, and he believes in it.
Jose Tamara in the on-deck circle. 1 out, and the count is full. And Pedro strikes out. 2 for 4 for Alvarez tonight. As the lefty Diekman gets him. Down to chase a pitch out of the zone, down and away. Tamara a chance to drive in Russell Martin. One for 3 tonight in his return from the disabled list. Thinking 1 to Jose, batting .274. Omar Gomez still throwing. Pitch the 7th. One and one. Quick turnaround tomorrow, and this 4th of July holiday tomorrow afternoon, 1:35. It's also a getaway day for the Pirates. They'll head off to Chicago.
brief 3-game road trip.
Back at it Monday night here.
This one gets away, but not enough for Martin to move up. Interesting thing about the upcoming road trip, it's a first for the Bucks. It's the dad's trip. Pirates players get to bring their fathers on the trip. Clint Hurdle's dad is here for this series. He's coming on the trip. Two balls and a strike. The pitch. And Tabata fouls it down the right side. Two and two.
Well, they're picking the right city. See how the dads can handle 3 nights in Chicago. It's a test.
2-2. And a swing and a miss. And Tabata goes down on strikes. He's 1 for 4. Pirates end up with a couple of runs. It's 6-3 after 6. PGH Camp telling part of the story tonight. Play me or trade me. Well, trade deadline's coming up. You must know about it. 6-3 Pirates as we go to the top of the 7th inning.
If you're not sure, you can just say, play me or bench me.
Travis Snyder comes in as part of a double switch, batting in the 9th spot. He'll hit second in the bottom of the 7th. And Junmar Gomez coming out of the bullpen. Pitching the top of the 7th inning. He'll face Jimmy Rollins, Dominic Brown, Delman Young. Gomez goes in Tabata's spot in the batting order. 7th spot.
8 of those appearances, starting appearances for Junmar, started in Seattle.
Gomez would have started this ball game tonight had Jeff Locknott had his day moved back. Starting at the right age. It's a new generation of Bucko fan right there.
I can recommend a barber.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Needs to go to the one I go to.
But Rollins batting left-handed. Switch hitter turns around for the first time tonight to bat from that side of the plate. Takes ball one from Gomez.
Keep in mind, Charlie Manuel still has the big man on the bench, Ryan Howard.
1-0 pitch. Ball, one strike to Rollins.
2 huge runs, bottom of the 6th for the Pirates to get that separation of 3 runs.
Rollins puts this one into the seats for a strike. 1-2. Ryan Howard getting his gloves on. He knows late in the ball game he's more than likely going to be called upon.
Philly skipper. He's a good guy. I enjoy being around Charlie Manuel. He's old school.
Gabby Sanchez with a pick. Toss to Gomez, and he got him.
Oh, nice speed. Maybe could have led him a little bit more with the feed, but he had to unload quickly. Rollins gets down the line, and Gomez, a good job to get over there. Well done. Nice pick by Gabby. Going out there and then having to throw underhand on the move. That's a real good 3-1 play for the Pirates. I don't care what kind of lead you have. It's an awkward throw.
Brown breaks his bat, drops it into center field.
In half.
2 for 4 for Dominic Brown. The better part of the bat. Died a winner for Brown.
You know, Tim, this is becoming a step-by-step process. Out by out. Out by earned out by earned out.
Well, like you said at the beginning of the game, Steve, Pirates are doing whatever they have to do to stop this long 1-game losing streak.
Yep, got to get out of the slide.
But at the same time, they're grinding out outs. Strike called to Delman Young. They haven't been able to get Young out yet tonight. He's 3 for 3.
About time we get a ground ball right at somebody up the middle of the infield.
Martin couldn't find it, and Brown's going to take second base on. Wild pitch charge to Gomez. Now runner in scoring position.
Where is it? Yep, and you lose it for a minute, and those guys that are quick with the quick instincts will do that.
Mark Gomez pitching to Delman Young. It's outside. Back in the 4th inning. Young had the second hit of his 3 tonight, and that was the 1,000th of his career. That ball was sent up to the clubhouse for safekeeping. Two 2-1 pitch. He went.
That's perfected right on the outside part of the plate. It was going to be tough to handle whether he took it or swung at it. Pitcher's pitch.
Two to Young. Goes up the count at 3-2. Mayberry in the on-deck circle. Ready for the 3-2. Gomez checks. Now comes home. And a ground ball to Mercer. Jordy throws out Young. So finally found a way to get him out. He's 3 for 4, and there are 2 men out for the Phillies in the top of the 7th. Budweiser Bowtie Bar, located behind section 101 at PNC Park, features a full-service bar, weather-protected dining space, a great place to watch the game, and get great views of the city, too. Budweiser Bowtie Bar is the perfect location to catch a few innings next time you're at the ballpark. For more information, call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS
or visit Pirates.com. I thought this might happen here. Ryan Howard will come up and hit for John Mayberry. Straight change for the first baseman. Howard, left-handed bat. 267 average for Ryan Howard. Has 10 home runs. He's driven in 42. So Charlie Manuel going with the heavy hitter here. Pirates will shift with Usher behind the bag at second. 390 pinch hitter. Again, the Phillies, we told you, have more pinch hits than anybody in baseball with 35. Kevin Franzen had the 35th in the 6th inning with an RBI base hit. Swing and a miss. Howard behind quickly 0-1.
And you know, you might wonder, well, why don't they wait till they get another man on one swing of the bat and tight? That might not happen. It might not happen, and one swing of the bat now can at least get you within one run with you know, a couple more innings to work with. So he's playing his big man card right now.
Also knowing that continuing through the game, the Pirates have one left-hander left in the pen. That's Tony Watson. Everybody else a right-hander. One and one the count. 1-2. Omar got ahead, now stays ahead. Two men out, runner at third. Omar Gomez 1-2 pitch. Blocked by Martin. Staying at third base is Dominic Brown.
Under the watchful eye of Ryan Sandberg.
Sandberg, third base coach. Talking about second baseman earlier with the play of Neil Walker. How about this guy?
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
People think he's going to be a big league manager in the not too distant future. Could be even in Philadelphia. Could be earlier than people are thinking.
2-2. That one's low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gomez doesn't want to lose Howard here.
Smothering that ball with a man on third base.
Major league catchers play as much goalie as they do catcher.
Try to get as much of yourself or your equipment in front of the baseball.
Got him. Struck him out. Junmar Gomez strikes out Ryan Howard. It's stretch time at PNC Park, middle of the 7th. It'll take you around this huge crowd here tonight.
Del Toro struck in the 5th inning for a 3-run homer, his 21st of the year. Pirates added 2 more in the 6th, the McCutchen triple and a Martin double. And got his nice hat on tonight. 6-3 Pirates with the lead. Ryan Howard stays in. He'll play first.
And that's why
Walker is in for a strike.
Charlie Manuel using him there, knowing that he's going to have a chance, perhaps later on, to use him again. So get him in there, maybe get him 2 at bats instead of 1.
Walker has a couple of hits tonight. He's 2 for 3. Finds himself behind in the count, nothing at 2 here. Average going up just a bit, 251. Started the night at 246. Went, says home plate umpire Paul Emmel. So Walker a strikeout. And there's 1 out in the Pirates half of the 7th inning. Do not feed the Sharks, and pretty soon you expect to see the Shark up. Mark Melancon. Melancon found that sign in Seattle while just walking around the city. Popped into a store and saw that, bought it. I happened to be on the bus, and he brought it on the bus. He was the first player to come on the bus that afternoon, and he stopped and said, "Look at this, look at this. Can you believe I found this?" So excited about it. And there he is. It loosened up.
No surprise.
You know, they've named those sharks in the clubhouse.
What are their names?
The 2 sharks that they have in there. They've got 4 fish. 2 of them are sharks. One is named Teak after Kent Jacoby. Strike called to Snyder. It's 0-2. And the other is named Cutter after a pitch that Mark Melancon throws very well. One pitch. And Snyder chased badly and strikes out. Diekman gets the strikeout.
Has he ever? What?
4 in a row.
Yeah, 4 faced, 4 Ks.
Marte looking for another hit. 1 ball, no strikes to Starling Marte. Is he a fun player to watch? Tonight he did get a throwing error earlier, but part of the young mistakes that sometimes you'll make when you're a first-year full-time player.
He's not dull.
Didn't amount to any damage, though, the throwing error. Phillies wouldn't score after that. In the 4th inning. Cole watching closely. She has to face this Phillies lineup tomorrow afternoon. 2-1. Marte is fun to watch when he gets a triple. He has 8 of them. It was nice to see somebody else get one tonight. McCutchen getting his first. Mercer has 1. Walker has 2. Cole Hamels will oppose Garrett Cole tomorrow.
Hamels 2 and 11.
Well, Cole Hamels' regular rest would have had him pitching last night, but Charlie Manuel giving him a couple of extra days. It's going to change things up for the veteran lefty. Now 1:35, July 4th telecast, and tomorrow it's for the troops. Make sure you tune into tomorrow's telecast. A lot of special things planned for you on the 4th of July. 3-2, swing and a miss, strike 3, and Diekman has come out of the bullpen and struck out all 5 men he faced, including the side here in the 7th. It's time for Mark Melancon in the 8th.
1:30 start for the July 4th holiday tomorrow. For the Phillies, Cole Hamels, 2-11, 458 his earned run average. Garrett Cole will pitch for the Bucks. He'll make his 5th start. He's won all 4 of his starts. PRA of 370. Our coverage on Root Sports starts with Pirates pregame at 1 o'clock.
So the youngster has twice as many wins as Hamels.
He does. First Pirates pitcher since 1907 to start his career with 4 straight wins. Mark Melancon making his 42nd appearance. Melancon pitching the 8th inning this year has been practically automatic.
Locke, Wilson, Gomez goes a scoreless inning, giving up a hit, recording a strikeout, a big one against Ryan Howard. Now Melancon to the bottom 3rd of the Phillies batting order.
Pirates, when leading after 7 innings this year, are 38-2. So I think things favor Melancon right now. With the Junior Jolly Rogers going, the big one will be raised out in center field should the Pirates hang on and win this one. Looking for win number 52 to maintain the best record in the major leagues. Pirates 20 games over 500, 2 up on St. Louis in the division. Cardinals lost last night to the Angels in Anaheim, and they'll play them again starting in about 10 minutes. The game will begin at the Big A. Here's Ben Revere. Revere bunts it foul. And Russell Martin saying, wait, that ball was fair. Where was that ball? Was it right out in front of the plate? Let's see.
Was it staying on the line there? It was near the chalk.
Well, Clint Hurdle thought it was fair too. Came out to question it. Nothing in 1 to Ben Revere. The Pirates at 51 wins. They didn't get their 52nd win last season until the 20th of July.
There goes Walker again.
Great backhanded play by Walker.
He's starting to patent that play.
He retires Ben Revere.
The more you make this play, the more confident you become. He just keeps getting it done.
Carlos Ruiz, the number 8 hitter. For 2, he was walked intentionally in the 4th inning. In the 3rd, he flying to right, had a base hit, scored a run in the 6th. Well, 1 pitch coming. And this is fouled off, and Melancon quickly gets ahead, 0-2. Bucco fans dressed for the occasion. And the 0-2 on the way. That's in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Get another shark, you can name him Slider.
One-two pitch. This one's fouled off. One out, nobody on. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 33,197 here on this Wednesday night at PNC Park. See the Pirates and the Phillies.
Thank you very much.
Expecting even a larger crowd tomorrow for the July 4th holiday game.
then we got those first place Oakland A's coming in after the Chicago trip. Do they take the Sharks with them? Is there a Shark trip?
No Shark trip.
Dad's trip.
Just the Dad's trip. There's no Pets trip. Nothing like that. I mean, you're looking at me like the Dad's trip was my idea.
No, I think it's great. I took my dad on some trips.
Down on strikes goes Ruiz. Well, Melanson certainly a guy who should receive not only consideration for the All-Star game, but with those numbers, first in holds, really, of course, first in saves. I think really is a lock.
How about Locke? Is Locke a lock?
Locke's not a lock, but Locke's going to get consideration. He should. He was in line for his 8th win.
The thing that hurts Mark there is that really with the saves. I mean, the saves guy, he gets all the attention. He gets the headlines. And Melanson has been great, but the headlines go to the saver. I mean, Melanson is certainly deserving. I would not be at all surprised if he went. I would be delighted for him.
Lance Nix pinch hitting on the top of the 8th inning.
Both of these guys have paid their dues. It bounced around a little bit. You know, the resume of both of these right-handers, couldn't be happier for them so far with what they've done this year. They've been a big, huge part of this Pirate success. Love to see them both at Citi Field.
Nix grounds it to the right side. Walker will handle it. How about Mark Melanson? Just another night at the office. 6-3 Pirates.
Of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Bottom of the 8th inning at PNC Park. They're lined up on the rotunda, and it's been a great view from up there. The 6-3 Pirates lead. Black and gold all over the place. Great to see. Hope you're having a great time off now. I imagine many of you are off for the July 4th holiday, which will be here tomorrow. Here's Joe Savory. Left-hander will start the 8th inning for the Phillies.
He's bounced back and forth between AAA and Philadelphia most of the season. Fourth pitcher of the evening, Lannon Almont. Diekman was fabulous. An inning and 2/3. He faced 5 batters, struck them all out. But as they saw, the horse was out of the barn.
Yeah. There's Mercer with an 0-1 count on him. Jordy without a hit tonight. And he is the only player in the starting lineup without a base hit. Reached in a fielder's choice in the first inning. He's grounded out twice and flied out once. And a bouncer to Jimmy Rollins at short. 1 out. Off in the distance, fireworks for the regatta going on. Folks did not come to the ballpark tonight for fireworks.
But we got one.
That's for another event.
One big bomb went off when Pedro hit the ball. There's going to be a lot of fireworks starting tomorrow and starting tonight. Next day or so.
So folks here getting an early show. Pirates game tomorrow afternoon, and then folks can watch the fireworks shows of their choice all around the region.
Pirates got a 300 hitter up the plate.
And McCutchen 2 singles and a triple tonight. Savory set at the belt. Now the 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. McCutchen's hitting 5 straight. Fireworks still going. We're going to see a bunch of boats on the river tomorrow, aren't we?
Yep.
Saw a bunch tonight. It holds up. The count is even 2-2. Sounds like the finale. Or maybe not.
There's a good chance that tomorrow night, wherever you go in western Pennsylvania, you will see a fireworks display. Every borough, every township, it'll be happening.
It's almost grilled cheese time. McCutchen takes ball 3, 3-1. Really looks like he's already heated up in the bullpen. Payoff pitch. McCutchen will get another. To win tonight, the Pirates would even this series. Add a game apiece and go for a series victory tomorrow afternoon. McCutchen fouls this one down the right side. That will just barely get into the seats and bounce out. This is nice, Steve. We can get a fireworks show while we work.
Work?
I mean, while we watch baseball.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the show off to the side.
Ball 4 to McCutchen. Second time he has earned a free pass tonight. Gabby Sanchez waiting to come up. Gabby taking a slow walk, hoping the fireworks end before he gets in there.
Maybe because he got sore ribs, too.
I've actually seen you in that hat before.
Yeah. Yep. Guilty as charged.
That's a popular hat. Here comes the pitch to Sanchez. Inside.
I think you saw me wearing a lampshade for a hat down in Florida in spring training.
Which time?
One of those production meetings. Which time?
Is that what you're calling those these days? Lampshades?
Nice bonnet right there.
Ball and one strike to Gabby Sanchez.
We had our annual block party, our 4th of July block party, a week early, and wound up wearing a bicycle helmet with a flag sticking out the side. Some kind of decoration, commemorative decoration.
It's going to be a good look for you.
Another great block party. I think our 44th annual block party.
You probably haven't had any fun at the first 43, huh?
We're down to 1 day again now. There used to be 3 or 4 days.
Look at the smoke from the fireworks coming across the Allegheny River and over PNC Park. The regatta fireworks going off on the other side of the river. One and two.
Just a preview.
One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. McCutcheon is the runner at first base. After receiving the walk, Jordy Mercer grounded out to start the inning. Outside for a ball, 2-2. So we talked about the trip to Chicago, but then after that, folks, you should come out and see this Oakland Athletics team. They're a pretty exciting ball club. Interleague play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, with the Athletics coming in. Then an off day on Thursday the 11th. That's the day we'll be out with the Pirates Charities Golf Tournament. And then the New York Mets come in for 3, and then it's the All-Star break. So we're getting to that point. Adams slaps this one foul.
An extended break. There's a 4th day.
Yes. Yeah, it's 4th day on the schedule, but because the Pirates start on the road at Cincinnati after the break, that'll be a travel day for the Pirates on the 18th of July. Travel day and then a workout day at the ballpark. Look at that, fireworks hurting his ears tonight.
Yeah.
Two pitch. Sanchez knocks this one foul. The wind must be blowing in a northerly direction because here on the North Shore we are getting all of the smoke from the fireworks on the downtown side. Almost kind of a fog over the park right now. 2-2 delivery. That was ball 3 to Sanchez. Gabby had a base hit in the 5th. He scored a run, hit by a pitch in the 6th, then scored a run. He's also reached with a walk in the 3rd. So 1 for 2 tonight for Sanchez. Not a bad night. Now the finale's going. He's stirring up the crowd here. Sanchez hammers it down the left field line, and this ball is going to hook foul.
Almost got a cheap one.
Took a left turn at the last minute. Well, he stayed with it. He didn't quit on it. And he gets a souvenir as a result. Here's the payoff pitch to Sanchez from Joe Savory. McCutchen goes. Strike 3 called, and McCutchen is out. Strike him out, throw him out. Inning-ending double play. We'll head to the 9th inning. It's time for Jason Grilli as he looks for save number 28.
Side. He struck him out. Praise the Jolly Roger and give Grilli the save. Got him. Struck him out. Praise the Jolly Roger.
Gutsy call. W for the Bucks.
Grilli is going to try and bring him the cheese now.
Jason Grilli on to save it for Jeff Locke. 6-3 Pirates, top of the 9th inning. And they're dancing as they like the score right now, 6-3. They'll be doing some more of that. The Pirates get 3 more outs. Top of the order up for Philadelphia. Michael Young, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins.
Big man with a big hit. Really 4 ahead of Kimbrel for the Atlanta Braves. 23 for Kimbrel, 27 for Grilli, and Kimbrel will not get one tonight as the Braves go down to Miami. 6-3 in Atlanta.
Pitch outside for ball 1. Young tonight reached on an error in the 6th inning. He was 0 for 3 otherwise, so 0 for 4 total. One-0 pitch to Young. 2 balls and no strikes. A save for Grilli tonight with time with Johnson of Baltimore, who has 28. Joe Nathan of Texas and Mariano Rivera right behind him with 27 apiece. Three balls and no strikes. Really looking for a strike here on Michael Young. And he gets it there. Young taking all the way. Our cameraman up on top of the batter's eye, otherwise known as Mount Troy, is getting the bulk of the smoke from the fireworks show. All right, Troy. Down the right field line, and over there to get it is Travis Snyder. 1 gone in the 9th.
Really throwing some smoke. and inhaling some.
Smoked cheese right now. Chase Utley. 2-base hit in the third inning.
You could call this a conversion for Grilly or an inversion weather-wise.
Pitch. Utley takes a strike. 93. Boston Red Sox have 52 wins tonight. They had a 2-1 win tonight against San Diego in interleague play. They've taken the first 2 games of that series, but they have lost 34. So should the Pirates pick up their 52nd win to go against 31 losses, they'll maintain the best record in baseball. 0-2 to Chase Utley. Up in the air to right field and playable for Travis Snyder. Through the smoke. Makes the catch. And the Pirates are out away from victory.
And you know, one of the nice things too, and we want to put a lid on this thing with a third out, but the win tonight would also improve the Pirates' home record to 29-14. So it's always nice to have that nice home record in front of the home folks. And they're standing. They're liking it. The Pirates have delivered so far at home for the Bucco fans.
The Keystone Jolly Roger there. Popular item around this ballpark. Jimmy Rollins, the hitter. Strike 1. The cheese just above the knees to Rollins. Working on a 1-2-3 inning here. Jason Grilly against Jimmy Rollins. A very large crowd here tonight on a Wednesday at PNC Park. Strike 2. The Bucks are a strike away.
And once again, this Pirate bullpen, if Grilly gets him here and prevents him from getting on base 1-2-3 inning, that means the Phillies have had 1 base runner in the last 3 innings, and the Pirates have been doing that all season long. They have been polishing off the last 3 innings of ball games.
Really wind it up again against Jimmy Rollins. Rollins 0 for 4. 1 for 8 in the series. Get hyped about your Buccos.
Well, when you're grilling, there's always smoke.
2 balls, 2 strikes. They're looking to wrap it up right here. Two pitch. Line drive, left center field. And Rollins is going to head for second base. Marte will not make a throw. A 2-out double for Jimmy Rollins, his 18th double. And that extends his 5-game hitting streak to 6 in a row.
And don't you just love a 3-run lead? Because we're not seeing anybody come to the plate with a tying run.
Hit for Philadelphia tonight. Dominic Brown is 2 for 4. Facing Grilly with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Strike 1 as it's fouled back out of play. Both Michael Young and Chase Utley have flied to Snyder in right field. Now Rollins the double. Right now Rollins' run is meaningless. Pirates won't pay much attention to him. Now it's 0-2, and for the second time tonight, the Phillies are down to their final strike. Pedro Alvarez broke it open in the 5th inning with a 3-run homer, his 21st of the season. And that ignited this crowd, who had been rather dormant up until the 5th. She's ready to go. Here's the 0-2. Hit down the right field line a long way. This ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Dominic Brown. It's now a 1-run ball game at 6-5.
And didn't we just mention it's nice to have 3 runs instead of 2?
Dominic Brown has just pulled into a tie with Carlos Gonzalez for the National League lead in home runs. It's the second home run Grilly's given up this season. Delman Young's had a night at the plate. He's 3 for 4. He represents the tying run with 2 outs in the 9th. Swing and a miss.
And as we look at this home run by Brown, and how about the wild pitch that gave the Pirates their 6th run, the gift? As you look at this.
The last time the Pirate pitching staff had given up a home run was on June 13th when Hunter Pence took Mike Zagurski deep. It's a long time ago. 0-2 pitch coming. Fouled off down the right side. Third straight batter Grilly has had 2 strikes on with 2 outs in the 9th.
You never know how many you're going to need.
Martin sets up outside. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And that's your ball game. Win number 52 for the Pirates. Back to 21 games over 500 and the best record in Major League Baseball. Andrew McCutchen, a 3-hit night tonight, 2 base hits and a triple. He scored 2 runs. And Pedro Alvarez, 2 hits, including a 3-run home run, his 21st of the year. Pirates getting it done here tonight in a 6-5 win over the Phillies, evening this series at a game apiece. So the Pirates can go for a series win tomorrow afternoon. But the Buccos come up with a victory here tonight. A 1-run win, a little too close for comfort at the end, but a win nonetheless.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be pretty every time, and this one wasn't one of the prettiest ones, but everything else is details. Jason Grilly gives up the 2-run home run, but the Pirates as a team come away with the W, and that is the big picture here on a Wednesday night, as they got it done. They found a way to get it done.
Buccos win here tonight 6-5. Let's check in with Rob King and